Team, please let me know once you are able to see.
Yes, we are able to see your screen.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. Let me switch to all our default to trainings. Okay. Yeah, so today we'll understand the how the database, how we are supposed to be create, what are the different ways to create. And as I mentioned, we have some standard documentation as well to follow the how to create the database, how to alter, how to describe the database, dropping the database, and how to list out the databases. Okay, I'll show you that. So for that, you can go to this official documentation. So this is the one. So here from here we're able to clearly get the complete understanding
Are you
about the.
sharing? Are you sharing something?
Yes, I'm sharing the screen as well. Not able to see.
I can't see.
Oh,
I don't know about
is it?
others.
You're able to see now. Around.
Is it same for everyone or?
Yeah, I'm able to see.
I think you can join again because we are able to see the screen.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
Shabari
going to
better.
join again. Yeah, I'm going to leave and
Yeah, better. Yeah, rejoin once again. Yeah, meanwhile, I'll just start explaining about the how we can able to create the database. Okay, so this is official documentation. So as I mentioned, so first thing is, so if you want to create the database, right? So yesterday also we already created it, but I'm making sure that, so this is our database. So by default here we can select which database if you would like to perform the all the queries. And these sheets we already know how to execute the different worksheets. So now let's get started with the creation of the databases as well. So let me copy the complete syntax. So yeah, I'll explain you that. So this is a overall all the possibility ways to create the database. And as I meant, one more thing here, and we are not going to use all the possible options here. Only going to use a couple of those things. First thing is, so if you want to create the database, we have to use a create keyword as a DDL statement. Create database, database name, and here you can mention if not exist as well. Or also before the database name keyword, you can mention the transient database as well. I'll explain you what is a transient table. So transient table is a kind of a basic database, a kind of temporary database. Okay, and once changes were fixed and you're not doing any modifications, then you'll go with the transient database. But in real-time use cases, most of the cases we used to go with the normal databases only, like create or replace database and then database name. And if you want to create any database replication, okay, then we can use the replica here. Replica. I didn't mention anything here. Data retention replica. No, it was not mentioned here. So we can do with the data replication as well. We'll go step by step. Okay. So if you want to create the database, right? One second. Sorry, it's my bad. So we have to use create database and then, so the database name if you would like to, so I can create Harsha Trainings. two I can create. So previously we have the already Harsha trainings. So let me create the another train like Harsha to something to make it easy. I can do that. So now we have the database 2 as well. I can execute this one. So Harsha 2 got successfully created. Okay. And here, so if you would like to override this database next time, or you want to replace that one, right? So you can do create or replace next time. For example, you already have some data and you don't want to maintain that and you want to create or replace the existing database. Then you have to go with the replace keyword. Okay. So for this one, we have to use a replace keyword. Just click on this one, run. See. And moreover, for example, if I'm trying to create the same database name, okay, the same name, now this time I'll get an error. I'll get an error. Okay, so here we can make sure that we can add one extra functionality like if not exist, then only it will create. Okay, so anyway, this time also we'll get an error, but here we're making sure that, see, it's already executed. I mean, our SHA-2 database was already there. So that's the reason this not query is executed, but still database was not there. So we have to make sure that whenever you writing the database, make sure that we should maintain the if not exist as well. Okay. So now I can do the Harsha 3. It's a kind of validation. Okay. Now if I do this one, it will create the database as well. Okay, so this is how. And if you'd like to add the comment, so here we can just add space comment. And so what's the purpose you're maintaining? This is for my dev loading. Okay, data from pub source, so I can maintain in this format so that I'll get the comment for this database as well. Next time when I describe this particular table information, right? Okay, let me replace this particular database. I can remove this keyword. Now it's recreating the Harsha 3 with added comments. Yes, it was created. So when you describe the database, you will get the complete details about the uh, database. For example, so for that we can use describe database and then Harsha 3. And here in the settings, you can highlight the statements as well to make sure that what command you are executing it. Okay, see, you got the details here created on. Okay, and different types of schemas by default it will create this information. Okay, and here you can also use the describe complete keyword. Also we can use this one, describe. So making sense, or everyone able to follow?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we have the next one command called alter. So people who had experience on the SQL, so can anyone let me know what is the purpose of alter statement? Alter.
You wanted to add any column or change the column with
Yes,
The real
yes.
estate.
That means yeah, when you want to add extra column or when. when you want to rename the column, or when you want to rename the database name, okay, or you want to swap with the existing database with the new database name, or you want to change the time setting parameters when we configure with the database, right? The data time retention period in days or at a before you created something which is all of these properties. A later point of time you want to change it, then we'll go with alter statement. So alter statement is mainly for the modifies the properties of the existing database. Even it will be applicable same for the table as well. But right now we're talking about only database level. Alter statement is the DDL command, which it will deals with the schema level, skeleton level. That means where you can change the name of the database or changing the time travel. Okay, different options we can able to do that using the alter statement. So for example, now I don't want to maintain the Harsha 3 name as a database name. So can anyone tell me how to do that using the alter statement? Shabari? Anyone?
Yes, alter table name, right?
No, we are doing the database, right?
Alter
Not
database Harsha 3. Yeah.
alter database.
Alter
Next.
table name. Yeah, the Harsha 3.
So I'll add if exist as well. That
Mm.
means if the database was existed, then only I'm renaming it to something else. Okay. So for this one, let me explain the syntax way. Okay. So here we can do uh, rename to, here is the target. Existing DB we have to mention here, and what's the target DB if you would like to modify. Making sense? This is a syntax.
Yeah. So what is the hierarchy, Surya? So first is schema, on top and down database, then table,
No,
or any table
no.
space will be.
First will come as a parent. It will come as a database is the highest hierarchy. I
Okay.
mean, it's a parent. Under that will be
Um,
having the schema, and inside the schema will be having the. For example, if I take the COVID-19 data, right? This is a database, and if you see, let me refresh it here once again. If I come here, this is my database name. And to make it very clear, right, let's go ahead and understand how this hierarchy will work. Let's go to the data. These are all my databases. Able to see, Shabri? All of my databases.
yes.
Okay. Anyway, I created for different purposes. So don't worry, this marketing, different things. Okay. Let's focus on the only COVID-19 data as of now, because we have some tables inside of that. So that's the reason. And here I could clearly able to see that two different things for there, information underscore schema as well as the public. These two are defined like a schema. Okay, if you remember normal how we used to store the tables inside the databases in RDBMS, right? So that means even if we have the thousands of tables or 2000 of tables or even the 10,000 or 20,000 tables inside the RDBMS, must and should we have to store inside the one databases or maybe two databases.
Correct.
Correct. So in that case, you cannot segregate into different format as well. For example, where I want to segregate, this is a pub source, this is a target source, and this is getting from SFTP path. Uh, I'm getting for this is for customer data. I'm getting it from some transaction related data. I'm getting it from different operations of data, right? So that means the sources of data or the formations of data or your transformations of data, you cannot segregate furtherly after databases, because those things must and should we have to implement in the table level only. There is no further segregation. Okay, let me explain you here. So that means, let me open the worksheets here. That means in RDBMS, right, we'll be having the, if it's a RDBMS, so we'll be having the database, and inside this one we'll be having the tables, views, functions, everything will be part of only one database. And here you can create database 1, database 2, database 3, and database 4 as well, something. So this is a normal hierarchy. So making sense, Shabri? This is RDBMS
Yes,
structure,
yes,
right? 1, 2,
yes.
3, 4, and inside that we
Table
used to
view
create
function.
table, views, some materialized views, functions, whatever it is.
Correct.
But there is a problem here. This particular database, again furtherly I want to segregate into these tables into different sources. For example, where I want to make like a source, okay, and inside this I should maintain some tables. Then again I would like to make like a target is one of my object where I want to maintain separate tables here, and I have the some transactions related, trans
Yes.
related. I want to maintain
Yes.
separate
Yes.
tables inside that. So
That
these kind
source
of
and target
schema,
will be schema, right?
yeah, schemas, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say here. So
Okay.
to make it simplify, let me give the different name. So I'm getting the data from SFTP location or SFTP Kafka source. Then this is my schema name, and this is for what we can call policy information, policy underscore info. And this is a transaction, and we will get the one more data related to the reference related. So I want to make it in this format. So where I want to segregate earlier, everything we have to store into the one single database only. But using Snowflake, right, where we can segregate the data into different schemas as well. That means inside the database, I can create the multiple schemas, and at again schema level, we can able to store the tables, views, functions, everything, create tasks and everything. We can able to do that.
And we have data warehouse concepts in Snowflake, right? And where it will
Yes.
include.
Yeah. Data warehousing. See, whatever we're doing operations, right? You're talking about the warehouse concept or the processing concept
I'm using Snowflake as a data source for Tableau. Okay, I'm creating
for
dashboards
Tableau.
on top of the Snowflake. Yeah, but
Okay.
I came to know like we have some concept called data warehousing.
Okay.
So
No,
I
a
just want to know
data.
about it.
Yeah, let me explain in this way, Sandeep. So data warehousing is nothing but, so if you take, do you know Hive or data marts? Have you heard about these names?
Yes.
Yeah, in
Okay,
Hadoop, they will use it, right? Apache.
yeah, yeah, Hive or something related to data marts. So data marts, right? So these are kind of a data warehouses only. Similar to that, say here data warehouse is nothing but where we are maintaining the structured data for reporting purpose. Simple way. So that means here to extract the data from the different sources, like where I can able to load the data from the existing Hadoop platform, or I can able to load the data from the existing CSV path location, SFTP path location, or I can able to load the data from the different locations. And within the Snowflake, right? This is a Snowflake is a SaaS application. SaaS application means software as a service application, which is built on top of the existing cloud. We can use AWS S3, or we can use the GCP buckets, or we can use the Azure ADLS. That means for the storage purpose, usually if you go with any existing RDBMS, right, where they will maintain the data, tables, schemas, everything into the one single hood only. That means in their on-premises location, they used to maintain everything. But when it comes to the Snowflake, right, the warehousing concept, where they have segregated the storage into any one of the existing cloud service provider, okay, and for the processing, they have the separate warehouse mechanism to process the data. Okay, so that's the reason if you see here, we have the uh, no dashboards, where we can create the warehouses as well. Admin. If you see warehouses, Sandeep, that means based on my request, based on my data, how much of amount of data I'm getting. For example, I'm getting only 1 GB of data on daily basis. So for that, I cannot go ahead and create the excessive cluster. That means more cluster. We have the Excel as well, double Excel, triple Excel also we have. And it's a small means very small. It's very default one. Okay, and we have the compute SH charge. SH is nothing very. It's a very basic one again, extra small. And when it will use as a creditor also very less when compared to any other. And we have the Excel as well, double Excel, triple Excel, and so on, right? So based on your data, you can assign it. So that means, let me show you that how to switch to warehouse as well. Let me go to the worksheets here. So while executing your dashboard, right, while executing your worksheets, so simply we have to use warehouse. So whatever the existing warehouses are running, currently up and running, those will be displayed here. Simply I have to select this one. So that means next, what are the commands you're going to execute for all of those, this warehouse will be utilized. Making sense, Sandeep? Uh,
Yeah, got it.
yeah. So this is how, see, as I
The
mentioned, right?
warehouse
So
will come
warehouse,
up in the
sorry,
database where we can create so many warehouses, right?
no, warehouse is the compute level.
Mm-hmm.
See, both are different. Sandeep, let me make it very clear. See, here, whatever you're doing it right, this is for the storage level. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you can create databases. This is schema, and this is tables, this is views, functions, streams, pipes, everything you can create. This internal all deals with the only for storage layer. Okay, but when it comes to the warehouse concept, right, warehouse concept is not related to the internal data storage. It was all related to the amount of RAM you're about to process. Okay, both are
Got it.
different. See, yeah, we have the storage as well. Storage is mainly for what? Storing the data, right? Storing the data. Whatever the data you have, I have to process the data using the RAM. That RAM will be assigned using the concept called warehouse. Making sense? Are still having doubts, Sandeep? Anyway, once we
Mm,
come to the warehouse concept, right, you'll get more
okay.
understanding, Sandeep. I
Okay.
know it's a bit tough for you right now. Okay, but just point of time, just try to understand the only database as well as the schema concept in the Snowflake. Okay, so
But
where you
one
can create the
question
database,
is this,
and inside that
one
you can
question.
create. Yeah,
Yeah,
go
sorry,
ahead.
sorry. So database one to database two, we can load, right?
Hmm. Yes, we
You
can
can able
load.
to do. But you have to give the qualifier or just table name is enough.
No, if you don't provide the any schema name by default, it will select like a
Ah,
public is the default one.
got it. Okay.
Okay, so that's the reason I'm always suggesting you to see if, even though Shabar, if you see this one, right, by default database name dot schema name. What was my schema name here by default? Public.
Default is public. Yeah.
Public. If you see, whenever I created the database, we have to see here, and let me, and moreover, just want to make sure that we have added the comments as well. You remember that while creating the Harsha 3 database, right? So we're able to see this comment as well.
Correct.
When it was created, who created it, and this data was created from any replication of the database, no, and what was the source and how you created it, the database schema also, definition also you'll get it here. Okay, let's go ahead and deep understanding about the schema concept as well, because we are discussing so much on the schema level, right?
Sure.
Let's talk about that. So whenever you created the database, by default in your Snowflake account, these two will be created automatically. One is information schema, second one is the public. So this information schema is nothing but where it will maintain the all the details about your tables, views, functions, stored procedures, uh, tasks, views, streams, everything.
Kind of
When you
metadata.
created it, yeah, kind of metadata. That's what I want to say. In MySQL also we have the InnoDB concept. You know that part? In the MySQL also we have the MySQL database inside that. That means whatever the database you have created inside the MySQL databases, tables, views, and information, these all things will be maintained in the background level. That we can call it as a metadata. So similar to that in Snowflake also, wherever you have created, whatever you have created inside the Harsha 3 database, all this information will be captured inside this information schema. So that's the reason if you see wherever we have the database, right, we can able to see all this information schema. This is a Snowflake level. Don't worry about this one. Is a default one. That's the reason we're not able to see. Even this is sample data, right? Sample data. We have the information schema. See, and if I go with finance, we have the information schema. And if I go with the COVID-19 also, we have the information schema. Making sense, Shabari? The default schemas.
Yeah, got
Okay, yeah. Let's imagine I want to create one schema separately. I don't want to use the existing schemas then. For Harsha 3, whatever the tables I'm going to create for this one, I want to make like a policy information schema, transfer schema, reference underscore schema, something. Then, any idea? So after creation of your database, right? Don't get confused. So once we create the database, right? Immediately you can create the schema as well. So very simple. Create a table only. Sorry, create a schema. See, we'll get auto pop-up as a create schema, and the schema name is as of now. I would like to use sftp underscore Kafka as my schema. Okay, and here you can add the same properties like how you're mentioning, right? Create schema, if not exist, create a replace schema, and where you can mention the cloning properties as well. Some comments also you can mention. Comments where to mention equal. So data source from Kafka, and here I'm using the database name called Harsha 3. Okay, first select this one. I'm using this particular use Harsha 3. Database was already existed, right? Object node existed. Oh, it's a spelling mistake.
typo.
Yeah, it's a typo. Sorry. Now I'm able to switching the database to Harsha 3. Right now I'm at the database. Even by default here also you can able to select. So this is a one way. But usually in MySQL, right, we have to use the database name directly. But here we have to specifically mention use database, the database name. Okay, now let's focus on the schema section now. Here I created my schema. Let's execute the second statement. Yes, my schema got created now. Similar to that, I can create the multiple schemas. Next schema is policy information. So I'm getting data from the policy information related. Okay. Next, I'll create the one more schema. This is transaction related, so that I can add like a trans related. So if I execute this, and one more thing, if you want to execute the multiple statement at once, right? Select those two statements and do the control enter, or you can do the display button symbol to execute the statements. Two statements were executed. successfully. And if you want to see those the schemas, right, simply just minimize this, all of this, just refresh it here. Here you can able to see the all the uh, schemas, able to see trans, SFTP, Kafka, and then policy information. Are making sense? Are still having doubts in terms of schema? Now let me create the one table here, just the basic table. Create table. I can select employee one. Okay, and I would like to maintain only one column here. That's all. Here, so let me create three different tables here: employee one, employee two, employee three. So can anyone tell me what will happen if I directly use the create table statements here? Sandeep,
It has
what will
multiple
happen
schema.
here?
If it has multiple schema, it won't know like where it will go to store that
In that case, where it will go? See here by
default
default, if
schema.
you see on top right, see by default it will select it to trans. Okay, that means
Mm.
it will go and create in the trans schema. Okay, so if you want to specifically store into one separate one, so then we have to mention the in this format Harsha 3 dot schema name dot database name dot schema name dot table name. Making sense or still having doubts?
No, it's clear.
Okay, this is a policy information and we have the trans. Now let's execute all of these three. See, all three statements were executing fine. No problem at all. And here this is a recent query ID. Anyway, I'll explain you the importance of the recent query once we comes to the query history section. Okay, now let's go ahead and refresh it here, the left hand side. We can able to see the each and every table. Let's go to the table one where it got created. Employee one, SFTP Kafka. Let's check. See, it was refreshed. Sandeep able to see where the employee one. Let's go and check the refresh it here as well. Tables, and we have the trans as well. Let's refresh one more time. See, so that means here you can create the views, functions, so many things: stored procedures, tasks, pipes, streams, everything. I hope I've given some basic understanding about the schemas. Any doubts? Creation of the databases, schemas, and inside that creation of the tables.
Clear from my side.
Okay. Shabari, what about others? Shabari, Natraj, Nagesh,
Mm.
Akil.
What is the question? Sorry, I missed that
No,
part.
no, no, I'm just asking. So far clear, right? Any
Yeah,
doubts?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Clear.
Clear,
The
right?
only thing is,
Okay.
but you need to give the Harsha 3 database name explicitly. If I use
Uh,
database Harsha
no, we
3.
have to follow the absolute path always. Otherwise, right? So for example, now see, even though sometimes create or replace, I'm just recreating it one more time. Okay. If I don't mention also, that is fine sometimes because anyway we already did the Harsha 3. See,
But you can,
sorry,
yeah.
sorry, it's it will create. See, no problem at all. But I'm saying, so we have to follow the certain standard formats like a database name dot schema name dot a table name or view name, whatever it is.
So database name dot table name.
Yes, database name dot schema name dot table name.
The policy info is a schema name.
Policy info is my schema name, right? The recently
Schema name,
created
yeah.
one.
So database name dot schema name dot table name.
Table
Okay.
name. That's how. And see, anyway, here I selected the database name, okay, if and schema name. So one more thing I want to mention here, if I don't select any database name while creating the table, right, by default it will go to the Harsha 3 because I selected this one. Imagine even if I don't mention the Kafka as a my table, in that case what will happen? Shabari, what will happen in this case?
In this case, it will go replace table. It will go and sit in the Harsha Trainings under the
Harsha
default
trains,
schema.
okay. No,
Uh,
no, not the default schema. Here is the we selected the from here, right?
yeah.
Transit will create.
Uh,
See, this is whatever you're seeing, right? This is a top tab, that's broadcast tab, right? So this is
correct.
for the setting the properties default purposes. And
Default.
in the worksheet level, you can overcome these properties.
Yeah. By giving
Making
the
sense?
use
Yeah,
database
by
name
giving
schema.
the use database name or by giving the database name dot, by giving the schema name dot table name. In that case, it will go ahead and create the as per your explicit comment, explicit properties here, not from the default properties.
Correct. But tell me one thing, in the real time, do
Hmm.
you have access to create these table? Usually
No, we have
RDBMS
to
and
create.
you have to
No, Shabri, yeah, we have to create. As
in
a
Snowflake.
Snowflake data engineers, right? So we are the responsible for the migrating the data from the any existing Hadoop or MySQL or a Snowflake sorry, SQL server, DBA server, whatever it is, any existing DBMS platform, right? So we are the responsible for the this migration. First thing is, if you want to migrate the data, we need first to maintain the schemas. Am I correct,
Correct.
Shabari?
Yeah.
So, for example, in the SQL server, there is 100 tables were there. I have to first get the those all existing 100 tables DDL structure, and I have to execute this one by here. And
Correct. In the
moreover,
real time world, you won't create. DBA will create.
no, here also we won't create. We have to
Yeah, that
prepare
was my
one
question.
entire script. So
Yeah.
using the VS Code, right, where we used to
Uh,
configure everything. Do you know
configure.
Flyway? Yeah, Flyway.
Yeah.
Have you heard about
Mhm.
this name? Flyway database.
Flyway database now.
This is a one of the migration version control database where we can configure the Snowflake account inside this one. So
Mm.
I can maintain the list of the all my SQL files into one single folder. I can run the flyway command. That means in my folder, how many number of SQL files were there, even if now we handled more than 10,000 plus odd tables,
Correct.
Shavari. So
Yeah.
that means I'm not, see, this is mainly for the testing purpose or when you want to deal with some manual one or two tables and with 10 tables or 15 tables, not more than that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but real time, why we can't go ahead and create the 10,000 odd tables at once.
Correct.
Imagine you got stuck somewhere else. It's going to give you the only the error at line number 30 or line number 40 something.
Yeah.
Or imagine you got the line number 10,000 odd. So you can't go ahead and scroll, spend the time on scrolling the this, worksheet, right?
Correct.
That's a worst case scenario. But
Correct.
always in real time with a separate database migration tool.
Flyway. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so where we can maintain. See, even if you modified the, for example, you created a list of the 100 tables schema structures, Shabari. You
Mm.
created by using the flyway, you create all of those. Okay.
Correct.
Now I made some couple of changes in the SQL files. Okay. Again, if it's a worksheet level, must and should have to run all of those at once again. Correct.
Correct. In
If it's a
worksheet level,
worksheet.
but you have the
Yeah,
version control Flyway. So
exactly.
version.
The flyway
Okay.
will do the version
Yeah.
control of databases, right? So it
Yeah.
will automatically captures the, okay, what are the changes in my source files? It will execute
Yeah.
only those files.
Those files. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah, that's how the flyway will work. And we had the fly, and recently we implemented the flyway, and also we implemented the Liquibase as well. Liquibase.
Liquibase. Yeah.
Liquibase, Flyway are both are version control deployment database. See, both. Yeah, and if
Good.
possible, CI/CD automation completely. And if possible, I'll show you the Flyway commands as well. How to configure. I'm gonna show my real-time configuration files as well, but don't share it with outside of the
No,
Harsha
no.
trainings. Okay,
No.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
But this is too early to discuss all of those migration
Yeah.
concept. Okay,
Yeah.
so first we need to understand how this internal stack is working. Then we'll go for the migration section. Okay,
Yeah.
as of now, imagine the case we have only 5 to 10 tables, 5 to just 20 views, and one stored procedure. Think like that.
Correct.
Okay. Once we comes to the large value, once we complete the entire course, then we'll go for the real-time scenario questions, real-time issues, and moreover, exact SQL Server dialect query will not work in the Snowflake.
Okay. Correct.
Yeah, we
The
have to
syntax is
convert
little
those.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, syntax is different. So for that, we have to use online tools, but our company, we have the own tool. Okay, because we are mostly into Snowflake migrations only. We're going to use a separate tool for that. Okay, and if you copy pasted that part, right, you'll get the output section as well.
Oh, if you
I'll
put
show
a
you.
SQL Server one, automatically it converted.
Automatically it will convert it to Snowflake.
Snowflake SQL. Okay.
Even if you have the 10,000 odd plus sequels, we don't need to
Mm.
worry. Everything will be
Mm.
taken care by the uh, uh,
Automation.
automation purpose,
Yeah.
automation tool. And we have the source versus target validation as well, Shabari. That
Yeah.
means where we have the data from the source, target is a Snowflake, right? MySQL server is my source, target is
Correct.
a Snowflake. And
Yeah.
I have to make sure that everything in terms of the, for example, if I take the integer columns, okay, I'll take the average of the all the integer column, or I'll take the count of maximum count, minimum count, and average everything. And I'll apply the same logic in the target as well. If these two
Okay.
got matched, that means data
Mm.
perfectly was loaded.
Apple to apple. Yeah.
Number of rows we can capture, number of rows we can compare between these two. Okay, we have the
Yeah.
scan profile commands as well. Okay,
Mm.
the scan command will just scan the all the data from the source, and profile will get the data from the target, and we'll do the some diff command. Diff command will do the indifferences between these two.
Correct.
Yeah, it's kind of apple to apple comparison.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I have to jump into another call today, and so I think yeah, Harsha Training suggested me to inform you one just a small message from Monday onwards. The actual trainings will start. Okay, so that means where I'm going to start from the scratch again. I'll start databases, schemas, tables, everything. Okay, account creation, everything. So yeah, that's all for today's session. So if you have any doubts in terms of the Snowflake, please ask me right now only. Okay, so that we'll discuss now. Okay, and later we'll go for the actual sessions from the Monday onwards.
Don't have class tomorrow, right?
Yes, yeah, I think Harsha Trainings will update you, Sandeep, on this one.
Okay.
Surya, like I have few questions. Can I speak, please?
Yes, Akhil. Yes, please.
Like, as I'm actually an employee and I have a requirements of pulling the data from APIs, especially from SFTPs, JSON files,
Okay,
etc.
okay,
So can we do that through NoSQL, and do we have that content in this particular course, whatever we are going forward, or
okay.
like
You meant to say loading the JSON or XML files to Snowflake, right?
yes.
Yeah, I'll take. I mean, entire explaining about the semi-structured data. It will take a lot of time, Akhil. What I can do, I'll explain one use case. Okay, extracting the
Okay.
data one of the JSON file and using the
Hmm.
var into column where we can able to edit and where we can able to internally we have the JSON different sections we'll be having, right? Okay, how
Hmm.
to handle one by one? I'll let you know, Akhil. At all the
Okay.
files, right? You can do the similar process. As I mentioned, we can
Hmm.
go with the Flyway automation tool.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that
Okay.
is good. Like, and what about APIs? Can we connect? Like, I'm just trying with connecting an API, like few of the APIs like Google Analytics, etc. But
Okay.
SQL, Snowflake is not that flexible in connecting, and I'm not able to do it. Like, do we
Yeah.
have the flexibility of connecting through to API in Snowflake directly and
Yeah.
pulling the
Yeah.
data from
I'll,
API?
yeah. We had. Do you know Matillion tool? Matillion.
Yeah, Matillion. Yes, I heard of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Using Matillion, we can able to do that, Akhil. So using Matillion, right? What you can do? Do you know Fivetran? Fivetran.
Uh, Python, I'm not aware.
No.
Like,
No. 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 Not.
not Python.
Python. Yeah, not
It's
Python.
Py.
I'm talking about the Fivetran. Okay. Let me share my screen. I'll show
Python.
you.
Okay.
Yeah. Use those components. Okay. It makes your job very easy and straightforward. Okay. I'll
Okay.
show you that. So able to see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So Fivetran, see. So Fivetran, see, extract transformation load. Okay. We
Okay.
have implemented this Fivetran, one of our client, where we
Hmm.
implemented, right? So we have the
Yes.
data in the Facebook, okay, Google
Hmm.
Cloud,
Okay.
SharePoint, okay,
Okay.
and only thing is using the Fivetran, okay, so where you can just mention source as the all of these columns, sorry, all of these sources like different things, okay.
Okay.
See, these all are sources, I think so. These all are
Hmm. Hmm.
sources only.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, there's all our source and target is my Snowflake account.
Yeah.
Okay, what, yeah, but in between we have to do lot of configurations as well. Snowflake account configuration details we have to give, and as well as the API connection details also we have to provide using the Fivetran. Okay,
Hmm.
so if you mention all of these, then we just need to run. Once you run it, right, and we can also set the frequency as well. How many how many hours you want to repeat this particular flow. I can configure 12 hours, 24 hours, something. That means
Okay.
for every 12 hours, it will pick the data from your source. It will place the targeted in a Snowflake.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So
So
yeah,
directly
Fivetran
we
is the one
cannot do
option.
it. Directly we
No,
cannot do it, right? We have to use
we
a
can
third-party
do
tools like Matillion.
Fivetran or Matillion because that's what even Snowflake is also suggesting us to do. I'm telling you very honestly because we used to connect with the Snowflake calls, right? Sometimes
Hmm.
client.
Hmm.
Where the Snowflake from the Snowflake official, they used to join with some of our client calls because they were the main partners to give the client works. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, they were only suggesting us to use the Fivetran. Do you know DBT? Anyone heard about this
Um,
DBT tool?
no, I have no idea of
Yeah,
DB tool.
DBT is the next upcoming powerful tool.
Okay.
Powerful tool. Okay, where you can do lot of transformations, workflows, everything you can do it like a drag and drop, similar to
Okay.
Matillion.
Yeah, got it. Like just to our database where we use our Visual Studio as ETL tool from pulling the API and loading the data. So it is similar to this one, right? Like we have to use these kind of ETL tools for Snowflakes.
Exactly, exactly. These two are the main tools.
Material. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
got it.
better. So for your source, right? Better do one thing. Sorry, your good name, please.
Akhil.
Akhil. Yeah, sorry, Akhil. Akhil, I meant to say first, just create one your account. Okay,
Okay,
okay.
sure.
Go for the request demo. Or previously we had the, I don't know, maybe they have removed it. We have the create account creation as well.
Okay,
Account registration. I think they have removed it. Okay, directly or sign up. Okay,
okay,
so they're going to provide you 14 days free trial. Yeah, that's what, same 14 days free trial. Okay,
okay.
if you have time, okay, give me 1 minute. I have to post a message in the group. Like I'll take the sessions 20 minutes late. So let me sign up with Google. Okay, I'll go with this one. I think it's gonna ask me a couple of questions as well. It's mandatory. No, from my two numbers are already configured. Okay. You can't able to do multiple accounts. So Akhil, what you can do, right? Create your account. Okay, it's a
Okay.
14 days completely free trial. Okay,
Okay.
take one personal Gmail ID account and for getting the loading as a source, and one personal Snowflake account as well. Okay,
Okay.
do
Okay.
R&D. Okay, everything you can able to load it without any issues. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, and using Matillion also we can do, but Matillion is somewhat costly compared to Fivetran. That's what I heard. Okay, but Fivetran will do the most of the support whatever you need.
Okay. Okay. I will check with this one. Thank you for
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Anything else, team?
No, Surya.
Okay, okay, team. Then so I'll just talk to Harsha Training. So once they confirm me, we will start the trainings as early as possible. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining. We'll catch
Thank
up
you.
later.